The rain is lashing against the windows of Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, a Boeing 727 cruising over the Pacific Northwest. It is November 24, 1971. A man sits in seat 18C, wearing a crisp dark suit, a black tie with a mother-of-pearl pin, and a white shirt. He looks like a businessman, perhaps a board executive heading home for Thanksgiving. He orders a bourbon and soda. He pays with a $20 bill and tells the flight attendant to keep the change. Then he hands her a note. She doesn't even open it, assuming it's just another pickup line from a lonely passenger. She drops it into her purse, smiling politely. He leans in closer. His eyes are cold, devoid of any nervousness. He whispers, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." This is the beginning of the only unsolved case of air piracy in the history of commercial aviation. The man, who identified himself as Dan Cooper, was not a common criminal. He was a professional. He demanded $200,000 in negotiable American currency and 4 parachutes, 2 primary, 2 reserve. He wasn't reckless. He specifically requested non-military style parachutes, likely because he knew that military chutes often had timed release mechanisms that might prevent a civilian from deploying them quickly. The plane landed in Seattle. The passengers were released in exchange for the money and the parachutes. The crew remained, ordered to take off again, flying toward Mexico at a low altitude. And then, somewhere over the rugged, pitch-black terrain of southwestern Washington, Dan Cooper opened the aft stairs of the aircraft and walked out into the freezing night air. He jumped into a thunderstorm, into a death trap, carrying a heavy bag of cash. When the plane landed, the cabin was empty. The man had vanished. The FBI launched an exhaustive manhunt, scouring the wilderness, questioning thousands of suspects, and chasing every lead from Portland to Reno. They found a few bundles of cash years later, rotting by the banks of the Columbia River, but never the man. To this day, the identity of D.B. Cooper remains one of the most maddening puzzles in modern history. Was he an expert skydiver who survived the jump? Or did he perish in the cold, unyielding Cascades, his remains swallowed by the earth? The FBI closed the official case in 2016, admitting defeat after 45 years of investigation. Yet, the story doesn't end there. Think about the logistics. A man jumps from a commercial airliner at 10 feet, wearing only a suit, in freezing rain into a dark, mountainous forest with no searchlights to guide him. The odds of survival were virtually zero, and yet, no body was ever recovered. No parachute was ever found. Every shred of evidence, from the tie he left behind to the cryptic notes, has been analyzed by forensic experts and citizen detectives alike. We are left with the chilling reality that some people simply cease to exist, stepping out of our reality and into the void without leaving so much as a footprint. Every time I look at the composite sketch, that stoic, enigmatic face, I am reminded that the greatest mysteries aren't the ones with complex solutions, but the ones where the ghost simply walks out the door. The truth is obscured by the fog of time and the silence of the wilderness. And as the investigators turned the final page on the file, the shadow of the man in seat 18C continued to loom large, proving that some secrets are not meant to be found in the archives of history, but are hidden deep within the dark, impenetrable forests where the wind still carries the whisper of a man who jumped into the nothingness.